Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final game of Samoa and England's group stage here. And at the moment, Samoa have confirmed themselves as one of the top two sides in their pool. So they will be going on to get an opportunity in one of the quarterfinals. But first of all, they do want to try and increase their points differential here up against the English. So it could be a relatively one-sided game, or the other side of things is we may see England come out absolutely firing to try and get themselves a little bit further back into the competition. But the two quarterfinalist sides that we already know are confirmed are the USA and New Zealand. Now, Pool D, the winner of the game between Kenya and Scotland, I believe, might have a good chance of making it through to the next stage. So it could be Kenya because they are currently sitting 20 points to 10 up in this contest. But I'm not too sure how much they needed to win by to be able to get into the lead. But what we will do is we will look through at the Samoan starting lineup and also for England. So first of all, Va'a Pilomaleko, he has been scoring tries in every game that he has played. In fact, he's been scoring 2 tries in every game that he has been playing. Then at Iona Sione, here's their number 3, Vauwasa Afasua, Paul Scanlon, Malani Matavao, Steve Onisai, and then also Noele Letufia. That is the starting lineup for the Samoans. Then for England, it will be Ethan Waddleton, Charlton Kerr, Jamie Adamson, Tom Bowen, also Tom Emery, Freddie Roddick, and Will Homer. Now, off the bench, they have got Bavadra, who's a very dangerous player. Blake Boyland, also very handy. I'd say Opitai, probably one to watch out for Samoa, as he was able to score a try in his last appearance for them. That was in the second match when they did end up going head-to-head up against the Scottish. So Samoa sitting 2 wins from 2. It's a penalty in favour of Kenya currently in that game between Scotland and the Kenyans. So they are leading by 10 points. Now, the thing is, if Kenya, they take the tap, they kick this one into touch, that must be enough to make it through to the quarterfinals, because you'd think if it wasn't, that would be a massive mistake from Kenya. But I believe Kenya have secured themselves a spot in the quarterfinals, and there are a lot of people in attendance supporting the Kenyans in Los Angeles for this one, but it's a massive win for them. They've come off I want to say it was about a 5-match losing streak of series where they haven't been able to get a victory, to now getting 2 in a row. So this Kenyan side looking the goods just before reaching the Cape Town Sevens World Cup. So looking at the Samoan lineup once again, Va'a Pilomaleko, also Vauwasa Afasua and Malani Matavao, all co-captains for the Samoan side. I'm not very central. There we go. That is a little bit better. But this game, I think it's going to be a high-scoring one, Samoa. I hope they don't take their foot off the gas here and take England too easily, because or else then that is when you can get yourself into trouble. But if Brian Lima, if it's anything like all the other games, he will certainly want them to bring that physicality. Jamie Adamson in that starting lineup. Also, I think Tom Bowen's going to be a handy asset for the English. It's a shame that they don't have Dan Norton anymore. He is actually coaching China in the Sevens, which is a pretty awesome opportunity for that man. Samoa, do let me know your score predictions for this game. How many points will Samoa get, and also how many will England be able to get for themselves as well? But Kenya, they were able to beat England. Scotland, they were able to beat England. England on a 2-match losing streak for the Sevens competition currently. Brian Lima there, looking extremely concentrated as always for the Samoan coaching role. Right. Samoa at the moment, they have secured their spot in the quarterfinal. I believe they have actually also secured themselves as the number 1 team for the quarterfinal, which I believe means Kenya play up against Australia or Argentina, one of those two sides, and then the other teams, it will be Samoa playing Australia or Argentina. I hope Samoa play Argentina just because they seem to have a bit of a better record. That is once again going to be a disastrous start for England. That is not the first time that they have had a rough first kickoff. That time it was actually players in front of the kicker. That is something cannot afford to have. Definitely not up against Samoa, because now 15 seconds in, the Samoans now have the tap from the halfway line. Will be Malani Matavao. Takes the quick tap, runs it slightly backwards for a start just to try and work out where that gap is in the English defence. Off to Sione now, going on the outside. Bowen able to try and take him down, still hanging on to an ankle. Just did enough to keep him from breaking through. Malani Matavao receives the wide cutout pass. Nicely done there. Vawasa Fasua, he straightens. So half a gap. It was worth a shot going through. Malani Matavao back to Yuna Sioni. Now nice step from Scanlon. Nice offload on the inside to Letofea. Now Malani Matavao. One more. It's looking good for Samoa. The drawing pass. Pilo Maliko, the try scoring sensation. He's going to be held up on his back here. I don't believe he was able to get that one down. The referee has looked for it. It looks like we are going to the TMO for this one to see if he was able to get it down. But we have got one more game that we are covering on the channel today, and that is going to be Ireland versus Fiji. Then tonight, we are doing all of the quarterfinals, the semifinals as well. Oh, he's close for Apela Maliko, but that is still up from that angle. He eventually rotates, but you'd have to say by then would be classed as a second movement. I don't think this is going to be the try for Samoa. It's well held up, so I believe this will be a 5-meter scrum now to the Samoans. And that's probably just as dangerous as being 1 meter out for them. They are definitely going to have that size, try and push hard over the line. Referee just waiting for the official decision from the TMO here. Going upstairs again, I think this is pretty self-explanatory that he's on his back. He tries to roll. It's on his own arm. It's off the ground. It's off the ground, and then eventually it does manage to go down, but that was after rolling. It's a no try, held up, 5-meter scrum for Samoa. So England will take that as a little bit of a win, having Samoa that close to their own line. In fact, over their own line, but being able to stop them. Has anyone ever realized that Will Homer kind of looks like a miniature version of Dwayne Vermeulen to an extent? Just me, probably, but a little bit of similarity. Samoa, they've got the whole field length to the right to be able to work with here. Letufia puts the ball in off to Malani Matavao. If this drawing pass is correct, they will be able to run in for their first try. Samoa 5 meters out. Now Letufia once again. Yuna Sioni. He dives over and gets the try for Samoa. Like they're saying, there's no stopping him when he's that close to the line. Brilliant run from Yuna Sioni. He has scored his second try of the Los Angeles Sevens. There aren't actually too many players in that Samoan lineup who haven't been able to get over the line yet. In the competition, they have scored quite a few points going into this game. They were sitting at plus 34 for the points differential. There will be a few more points on for the Samoans, but they look like they are picking up from exactly where they left off in their last game up against Scotland, continuing to work hard. Sioni's certainly slamming that ball down hard. Now the kick to come for Malani Matavao. He has struck it beautifully, so now the score is 7-0 in favour of Samoa. Great start to this match once again, and as long as they continue doing that throughout this competition, they have got a good chance of being able to finish high up there. That was slapped down by the English player. So it does become a Samoan throw. I believe it was Jamie Adamson there. Go Manu, says Taufo. Or Taufo, hopefully I've said that correctly. Yeah, currently 4 minutes left. Samoa getting themselves their first try of the contest. And definitely not their last. And wonder why England aren't a top 7 side nowadays. I used to make the semis usually. I guess it's just the fact that they're on their next generation of talent, I guess you could say. They haven't got Dan Norton anymore. He used to definitely help the English out. A couple of those other ex-English players have retired now, and God bless our boys. There's Taufo there. Now nice run from Oni's side. Looks for the offload. Doesn't quite get it in the end, but still keeps it on the side of Samoa. Now 40 out from the line. Letufia gives it off to Va'apilo Maliko. Offloads it back to Paul Scanlon, currently running backwards here for Samoa, but now continuing to straighten with a nice ball off to Yuna Sioni, who backed himself down the wing, but he was just into touch. So it will now be the line-out throw for England. Bowen's fired up for this game. He wants to see the English get themselves at least one win in this group stage. They lost to Scotland, like I mentioned. They lost to Kenya as well, which is why Kenya have now made their way through to the next stage of the competition. On over the top with that throw, kick downfield, nice bit of skill there from Tom Emery, and now it is back with Samoa, though that is one thing we have seen multiple times throughout this half. Good run from Letufia, gives it on the outside to Va'a Afasua, and now going back, it's going to be Sione, or they say he wasn't on the mark. Unlucky for him because he was close to it. But nice run from Valvasafasua initially. I believe that would have been Jamie Adamson once again was penalised for that one. Samoa, 2.5 minutes left. This is for Pool D. So we already know that Kenya have qualified second, so they will face off against number one side from the Australia-Argentina pool, which I believe will be one of those two teams. Also, Fiji and Ireland, they will be playing a bit later on. That will determine who finishes first and faces off against the USA, and who finishes second and faces off against New Zealand. So that seems to always be that matchup that we see as New Zealand versus Fiji early on in a quarter. That's a nice pass up from Yuna Sione. Gives it off to Valvasafasua, and he gets it between the sticks, and it is another try for the Samoans. Being put down 12 points to nil, and this will be a nice, easy 14 points to nil as well for Samoa. So I'm liking what we're seeing from Samoa early on in this competition. I am just worried that, similar to a couple of the past competitions, that they can have little mistakes. They finish fourth, and I think they'll finish fourth in the last 2 or 3 7 circuits. So I hope that they are able to find a way of getting a little bit higher, maybe making it to a final and getting themselves, at worst, a second place. Would be pretty awesome. See them do that. Or even if they did get knocked out for the semi-final and they did play off for the 3 and 4 place game, I would love to still see them succeed and finish third. That's going to be 14-0 now for Samoa over England. Try possession, I should say. 7 passes, 1 defend and beat, and 1 offload. Only just the 2 phases for Samoa to get over the line. Slapped back by Pelo Maliko. Got a good vertical leap on that man. Unisioni once again has got this one ready. And it seems like, he's gone through again. Unisioni. I was about to say, seems like Samoa are just playing this game at his own pace. Oh, that was brilliantly done by Homer. I think he's done just enough to stop him from getting the ball down. Homer's fired up, though. Oh, it is a try. Did get the grounding, but it was a brilliant chase from Will Homer to not give up and go, boys. Says Taufau there. That is going to be another try. That time it was Unisioni. And just as I was saying, they're willing to take it slowly, wait for their line break. And he just went straight through a gap that didn't even look like a gap at the time. And Unisioni went all the way. Almost able to stop him there was Homer, but he did get that ball down, which is why Homer ended up punching the ground out of frustration. How this game is starting to develop. Kick attempt. It's from wide. It's hit the post for Malani Matavao. So it does remain at 19-0. And there is just one more play of this first half before we head into halftime. Malani Matavao. That one has just... did it go 10? No, it didn't. Didn't quite go the 10. So England have got one last crack before we go into halftime now. Like Roddick waiting for this ball to become available. Someone has stolen it. There it is. He's now found it. He's saying they're not back 10. Does take the tap now, Roddick. Passes back. I haven't really seen... Who am I thinking of? Mitchell. We haven't seen a huge amount of Mitchell. Tom Mitchell. He's coming off the bench. That one's gone into touch. And now it will be halftime. 19-0 in favour of Samoa. So a great start to the match for the Samoans here. Brian Lima will be very happy with that performance. England's head coach, not so much. They haven't really had too many opportunities throughout that half. And the ones that they did have, they did end up blundering. And NBA Edits has said, hi, welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you are doing well. And let's go, Manu. And go, Manu Samoa. Don't worry, England 7 is a rough sport. Stay consistent. Says the new age there as well. But yeah, Samoa, they seem to be consistently doing better and better as we make our way through more competitions in the Sevens. They only got added back into the scene about maybe 5 leagues ago. And ever since then, they have been one of those sides that you can never underestimate. England, there will be the ups and downs. Hopefully they do find themselves an up heading into those World Cup games in Cape Town. It's going to be a tricky one there, but still should be pretty awesome seeing all of the teams in action. I know that Samoa, they have their first game up against Uganda, and that is a Ugandan side that we're able to draw with Australia, so it's not an easy win for the Samoans, but they'll certainly want to make sure that they get that one so they can move on to the next stage. But passes completed, 30 for Samoa, 2 for England. Carries 18. England didn't get a single carry, they have said in the stats for that first half. That's incredible work from Samoa to limit a side to the extent of not allowing even 1 meter carried. Moment, Tom Mitchell, it's like he is waiting patiently for the opportunity to make his way out onto the field. Now, Southern California, Los Angeles, the Universal Studios sign in the background. It is a great ground. It's also a beautiful day to be playing. So we have got another 2 hours or so left of the Sevens, but the only other game that we are covering on the channel is Fiji versus Ireland. That will be kicking off at 1:05 p.m. New Zealand time. When is the Manu Samoa's next game? Says TT. So more than likely with them finishing number 1 in Pool D. One moment, we will go here. If they finish number 1 in Pool D, their next game will be at 5:57 a.m. New Zealand time, and they will be up against the second team in Pool A, which is either Argentina or Australia, depending on who wins their game by more points. So they had a very close playoff game, so it does mean kind of relatively even in that regard. But I think Argentina currently are second on that grouping, so it could be Samoa versus Argentina. But yeah, 5:57 a.m. New Zealand time. And Samoa has improved a lot since their return. Exactly right. They seem to be just well and truly on the same wavelength, on the same page out there on the field. And it shows because they do seem to be putting together some very nice play currently. England sitting 40 metres out from their own line. They'd love at least one consolation try, and Homer almost going through. Great offload to Bowen. And this is going to be close. Tom Bowen goes in for the try in the corner, and England do get themselves their first try of the contest. 6 minutes left on the clock. There's still a chance that they could manage to pull off an upset win against the Samoans. But the thing is, it wouldn't affect whether or not they go through to the next stage. It also wouldn't affect whether or not Samoa make it through to the next stage in the quarterfinals. Nicely done by Tom Bowen. It's a hard kick for Emery, and it has gone away to the right. And was watching Samoa Sevens tournament online yesterday. Bloody heaps of good talent coming up, says Nazi Williams. Yeah, for this current side, Va'a Pilo Maliko, it's been looking very impressive. Steve Oni's side, 2 quick wingers, those 2. And then you've got Yuna Sione, who just seems to be getting better and better as the games do go on. And also Paul Scanlon, not too bad. Milani Matavao, you could literally almost list every player for Samoa, say they've got a bright future. And yes, when Samoa use most of their local players for Sevens, they are better, says the New Age. Now, challenge in the air. Oh, no, this isn't good for England. This is going to be a yellow card for Charlton Kerr. He has to go off the field for the next 2 minutes, which is the last thing England needed. Right when they had scored a try to try and get back into the contest, they do end up giving away another penalty. Go Samoa, says Malua in there. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be covering Samoa's quarterfinal fixture when it does come around at about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's going to be an awesome game to watch. Milani Matavao did nicely to take that one in the air, but he was taken out afterwards, which is where that yellow card for Kerr did come from. The ball comes out the back for Letufi. Goes to the short side now off to Milani Matavao. Trying to get the stepping going forward, but he has been tackled nicely by Tom Emery. Now Letufia goes across to Valvasa for Sua. Almost knocked back. Oh, it's beautifully done from Samoa. Now an offload on the outside. They say it went forward, though. Valaniko disappointed with that. Which team are you backing up to win the tournament, says NBA Edits. I think normally the tournament before a World Cup, we normally see a very good performance from Fiji. So I think Fiji are going to make their way. Oh, but it's tricky because Fiji could find themselves up against New Zealand in the quarterfinals. But I think Fiji definitely going to be a team to watch out for. And then maybe, I mean, to be fair, Samoa is a good bet. Because if they play like they have been throughout their pool stage games, they will be a hard team to beat throughout the finals. It's just replicating what they do in the pool in those other games against tougher opponents. Was Callum Randall, now Tom Mitchell. It's across Barden, now to Will Homer. One more pass back to Tom Mitchell. Last time I saw him in action consistently was actually the Tokyo Olympics for 2020, and definitely going to LA tomorrow if Samoa make it to the semi-finals. Here's BJ Wilson. Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see who they face, New Zealand or Fiji. Here's Norm there. Kerr only off the field for another 16 seconds. 3 minutes 39 left of this game. So England, they're only down by total of 12 points, total of 14 points, which actually isn't too bad for them compared to some of the results that they've had throughout the Sevens competition. Probably still not ideal, of course. But now England, they will have this line-out opportunity. Samoa, they've got some big guys off the bench. Falaniko has already made his way out there. Motu Opitai did score in the last contest. That wasn't terribly straight from Tom Mitchell, but it was straight enough. Tries to flick it across now. Finds Will Homer's hands. One more pass on the outside. We're looking straight into the sun, so it is hard to tell who it was. I believe it was Callum Randall out there. Now Kerr, the man who did receive the yellow card, has been knocked out of his hands. Now Malani Matavao goes across to Apilo Maleko. Falaniko has got the option on the inside to Iuna Sione. The ball's been knocked out of his hands, though. And now it's back on the side of England. It will be number 4, Callum Randall. Now Mitchell. One more across. England trying to hold on. Once again, it's another drop ball. Everyone's dropping the ball at this point in time. I don't know whether or not it's the sun. Maybe everyone's staring straight at it. But it just seemed like everyone just wasn't quite able to handle it the way that they would have liked to. So now Samoa, they will have the scrum feed. They won't mind that. 2 minutes and a bit on left on the clock. We'll use up a bit more time. And I do see Motu Opitai now makes his way out onto the field for Iuna Sione. 2 minutes 13. The difference between Samoa and their quarterfinal spot. We know they are finishing first in their group, and we know they should certainly have a decent crack of being able to go relatively far in this competition. They have had fourths in the 7 series the past 3 or so legs, so they want to try and change their momentum. A pass from Matavao didn't work, another knock on, and another scrum coming now in favour of England. He wanted the ball. 12 is getting subs, so that will be Will Homer going off the field, and that is for Blake Boyland, who has now made his way out there. Okay, there's a huge amount of chat going on in the front rows of the scrums. I believe the Samoans are speaking Samoan, and England are looking at them very confused at what is being said. Now Boylan feeds it in, going short side off to Tom Mitchell, has to try and back his pace down the wing. It's a big fend, almost goes into touch, throws a no-look pass, and Malani Matavao picks it up. Beautiful ball on the inside. Va'apilo Maleko, he ended up almost running into his own player there, Motu Opitai, which is why it wasn't quite available the way that they needed it to be. Now England get the counter-ruck. Jamie Adamson runs straight at the referee. Did make a solid tackle in the end. Hector behind, trying to chase this one hard, pinning the ears back, but it sits up now for Nui. Looking to the wing, Blake Boylan tries to shut him down. Another good tackle made by England, just throwing that one away. Little grubber kick backwards from Samoa. 1 minute left on the clock, and now we start to see the space open up. Malani Matavao, nice step on the inside, finds the offload. Great hands in the end, because it was definitely a lot lower than he would have been anticipating. Now offload back up to Matavao. Has to look backwards. Motu Opitai, 40 seconds left. Samoa in no hurry, straight through the gap for Nui. All he had to do was find the gap, and he's been able to do so, and that one has been called as another try, and that will also be an easy conversion for the Samoa. And Samoa got this game, says Norm. Does seem that way, and they will be moving through to the quarterfinals, where they will be facing off against a side. One moment, I'm quickly going to have a look through and see who else is confirmed. So the 9th place quarterfinals, we're going to see South Africa in them. They are going to be going head-to-head with the 4th place in Pool C, which I want to say we're in Pool D currently, if I'm not wrong. Who else have we got? Who is confirmed in quarter and semi-finals? South Africa are there. Canada, they will be playing off up against 3rd in Pool C. And no other quarterfinals are yet to be confirmed. But we will keep you guys updated with who is going to be playing who in those upcoming fixtures. It is after the full-time siren, so all Samoa need to do is be able to get one more ball here. They might consider kicking it into touch, but then saying that, they might also consider just trying to run it. Speaking of running, it's a good job there by the English number 7. I see Bavardra has also made his way out onto the park. Maybe too little too late for that man. Now Emery goes across Boylan. One more out to Kerr. Close to the touchline, 40 metres out. And it seems like they are continuing to fight here. England, they don't have anything to fight for. And Samoa got this game, says Norman. Also go Manu Samoa, says King Willie. Emery takes a hard knock. I believe he might have taken a knee to the head, and he is staying down for a little bit longer there. Now passed on the outside for England, moving up to the 22. Nice work from Kerr, unable to find that offload, and he has also smacked his head extremely hard on the ground. Now Bavardra, one more, looking for the corner here. Barton does go down 15 out. It's phase after phase at the moment. Counter ruck from the Samoans, and it's a penalty for Samoa. Go Samoa, says Key, and thank you, says TT. And there's who is favoured to win the entire 7 series. South Africa, New Zealand, or Argentina at this point. So out of those 3 teams, the only team who can actually get in there now is actually Argentina. So it's Argentina, Australia, or Fiji are the ones who could win the whole competition now. Malani Matavao, he kicks it forward. He's back in his pace. He's just grubbering it. He's going to try and kick it all the way. Finds the offload on the inside, and Motuopitai is able to finish it off for Samoa. And that is a nice final moment. Try and thanks, Kevin Ladd, watching from Penrith, Sydney, Australia, bro. Pretty disappointing the South African didn't make the quarterfinals. Would have been interesting to watch these NBA edits. And yes, straight away with them missing out on the quarterfinals, it means that they no longer have a chance of winning the 7th circuit, which is a brutal one for them. Unless, of course, Argentina or Australia end up getting, I believe if they get 8th or 7th, then they will still have a chance to go. Manu says Akuso there. Yes, Samoa once again having a brilliant performance, and they won all of their group stage games. One of the few teams that are undefeated in the group stage. And go Manu, says Philly, and also go Manu Samoa. Says obviously I'm watching from San Francisco. Thank you, says TT. There's no worries at all. Like I mentioned, we are going to be back for one more game for the first session of the day, which is going to be Fiji versus Ireland, 1:05 p.m. But then after that one, we are going to be back for the quarterfinals and the semifinals tomorrow night. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. 31 points to 5, the end score in this match, in Samoa make their way through to the quarterfinals. And also watching from the beautiful Samoa Islands. Team Samoa, all the best, says Pauleta. And they have been looking very good throughout their first 3 games. So if they can continue that momentum, they can certainly go far in this LA Sevens. But thank you all very much for being here. I will see you all for the next one.